So I'm gonna start this video off with James in the 1700. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna start this video off with this. This is an RTX 2070, and you can see it's running here on the bench. It has been running for like an hour with no problems. The customer said that it was a bad card, and that does happen with 2070s. We've had a total of one RTX card to get returned for being bad so far. I talked about it in a different video, and it had those Android little guys pop up on the, like, Space Invaders or whatever. It would pop up on the monitor and it would artifact. This system though, this RTX 2070 is completely fine. It was just the customer is a crazy guy, and I want to show you guys how crazy this guy was. So again, he returned the card. He said it was bad. This is an eBay customer. Obviously, I'm not going to say his name, but I'm gonna put my hand over the shipping label so you can't see this, but this is how he returned a video card, an RTX 2070 video card. He put 2 blocks of styrofoam in a thin manila envelope and put that in the mail and sent that back to us. Not the way you should be mailing an RTX 2070, whether it's good or bad. You know, and this is some of the aftermath of that. I don't know if I can get a good zoom in on this, but this is the bracket, and this is after I bent it out. It was completely folded over, and then on the bottom here, if I can get this angle right there, you can see how bent this part of the bracket is. There's actually a screw missing right there because there was so much stress it actually just broke the screw out. So even if we do get a new bracket, I don't know if we'll be able to even get a screw to go back into that spot. We'll have to see. So obviously we're not too happy with this customer. And on top of all of this stuff, these problems that he's created for us, he actually opened a case against us on PayPal. So when you do a return, if you buy something on eBay and you don't like it, you can just return it even if you just don't like it. It's fine. We do free returns. We're really easy to do business with. But and so that means we pay shipping both ways with a full refund. However, if you open the box, there's a chance that we may charge a restocking fee depending on what you did with, if there's parts missing and things like that when you open the box. This guy, threw the box in the trash and then mailed it in a manila envelope. So, he needs to get a restocking fee, but he opened a case against us on PayPal on top of just doing a return, and there's no reason he needed to open a case against us. It's pretty weird. Definitely really weird. Anyway, I thought you guys might like me sharing these type of stories. We get a lot of really crazy customers that cuss at us and all sorts of things, and it's usually there are times when hardware fails. We've probably all been there where we had a motherboard die on us, or a CPU, or a video card. It happens, but for the most part everything always works. But we do get a lot of problems with customers that they're using the wrong hardware. The processor they're trying to use doesn't work with that motherboard, or that motherboard needs a BIOS update in order to use that processor, or the memory they're using is not compatible. All sorts of incompatibility problems, and they always want to blame us. But we do our best to be nice and just take the returns and help them troubleshoot if we can. Anyway, so enough about this card. Let's go take a look at what's going on with the build. Alright, so this hasn't changed a whole lot since the last video, other than I actually have the glass side panel mounted right now just to see how it would look. Where I left off with you guys was that the radiator was contacting the waterway. This is probably not the best angle to show you this, but I can literally just lift this up right now because it's not connected. So there's the waterway, and the top of the waterway is too tall or you could say the radiator is too thick. Either way, they touch right there. So at one point, you can see these screw holes are supposed to line up. And so we're not off by a lot, but it's enough that it doesn't seep back down to secure this back down. There is the option that I could just leave it unsecured like that, and this could just move around all the time. I just don't like that. I'd rather I'd like it to be screwed down properly and be secured so that in the event that someone, probably not me, were to try to pick this up by putting like one hand here, one hand over here, pick it up with both hands, you know, this wouldn't just pull up and then all the tubing would just break, and you know, I'd have a huge mess and fry all the system and insert a million bad things that would happen. Who knows? Maybe the glass would shatter. On top of that, let's just talk about the worst things that could happen. So I want it to be secured, so I did order a Dremel, and we're gonna Dremel some of the radiator off the side here so that it can seat down properly, and I can still use this huge radiator, keep the cooling really keep the cooling really high. I don't know what am I trying to say here? Really cold? Good. Keep the cooling good. However you want to phrase that. Keep the system cold. So the Dremel's going to be arriving here in a minute, and then we're going to cut, and we'll update you with how it fits, and then we can start getting into the arranging all the tubes. We've got the here's like a 90-degree with a PETG tube, and we've got a whole ton of that we're going to have to do in here. It's going to be nuts. And then on top of that, we also need to wire the back of the case. So we still have a lot of work to do. I'm sure you guys can see that. But we have to get all these boxes hooked up. So we have a fan controller for just the power to the fans. We have a Thermaltake RGB controller just for that little side RGB panel. We have an NZXT RGB panel for the fans. And then we also have a 1 terabyte SSD that we're going to mount on the back. So there's going to be 4 boxes on the back. I have to run power to all of them. I have to make sure I have all the right cables for the power supply to run the power to those. And then I have to try to cable manage it all so it doesn't look like a disaster back here. So fun times. And then I'm going to show you guys this too. So one of my employees today cleared out this whole room because it was a complete disaster in here. And now we have more space so I can do some YouTube filming in here. And I'm going to put a table in here so that when we're talking about this build, we can put the table up high. We can use this tripod and make it a little bit better for you guys. So we'll be doing that pretty shortly as well. All right, stay tuned for the next part where we start cutting things into pieces. All right, guys, I've got the the eye protection, the face protection, and the hand protection, and we got the Dremel. So let's get to cutting this radiator into pieces. All right, I've got you guys set up on a kickstand. Are you ready? Got the Dremel. It's a really sweet Dremel. Look at it. I don't know if you guys can see very well, but this is the box that came in, and we've got a metal Dremel metal easy lock cutting disc thing. And I tested a bunch of the different discs, and this is the only one that would cut through the radiator. So here we go. It's hard to breathe. So you can see where I started the cut right there, and we have to come down, and then I've got kind of like a little silver Sharpie line there. I need to come across to somewhere around this area, and the tricky part is like having the lines intersect without cutting into the radiator core. So wish me luck. Okay, so we're almost done, but we switched to an extension cable. I took off my mask because I was fogging up my sunglasses, and if I can't see, it's probably more dangerous. So I'm just you know, doing this move. And we're about to finish right here, so let's keep. Yeah. Woo. I think that's real hot. Yeah, that's real hot. So, does it fit? That is the question. Let's go see. Guys, this is kind of sad. Look at this. We've got plenty of space over here, and obviously I can paint this and clean this up and make it look good if I want to, but it is touching right there on that edge, and you can see off camera I clipped off even a little chunk that was right there to give it a little bit more space. I also tried scooting the radiator this way inside of the deal. I mean, we're only off by like a millimeter. Let's see. See that? I mean, I could probably bend it if I wanted to, if I pushed really hard. It's really close, but we're already this far. We've already started cutting stuff. I think this is like the end tank right there. So I don't think we can cut that. I think there's actual water in there. So I might be able to shave it down like a little bit. And maybe if I shave down the plastic on the waterway just a little bit as well, between, you know, just kind of sanding off little millimeters, I think we could make this work. So this is extreme. This is so much work just to make this fit, but you know, I'm already in, so let's do it. Hey guys, just wanted to update you that off camera we were able to shave down the waterway on the Bixby waterway, and then shaving it down like just a little bit, we were able to seat the radiator down in place and secure it with the bolts, so everything was kind of buttoned back up together. In the next video, we'll catch back up with just already know in the next video that we secured everything together and we were able to start installing all the PETG tubing and fittings, and moving on to the next step to try to get this thing fired up. So next video, yeah, we'll have all the tubing and it's going to be like a huge step in the right direction. So check that video out.